Strategist Cheri Jacobus wants to hit the brakes on this. Cheri, in part because haven't we spent a lot of money on this already, on infrastructure, which is where these gas hikes are supposed to go to?
Yes, that's exactly what we spend the money on, and the taxpayer, the government doesn't have any money till they get it from you and me. The federal government, the state's government, so they may have different funds and different piggy banks, but we, the taxpayer, only have one. So when we know that they're spending money in lots of other areas, it's ridiculous that we don't need to be spending, and then they say, well, gosh, we're running out of money for our infrastructure, so we've got to raise a gas tax, which is a tax on the middle class, and we're going to do it just in time for your vacation. And I don't think taxpayers, voters, drivers, anybody likes that very much.
Well, Chuck, you don't mind it. Why?
Well, let me be clear. This is the reason I ride a bicycle here in Washington, D.C. But I think if you are going to drive a car, you should be the ones paying to fix the roads. And I think also that the federal government have now, since through all the cutbacks that we've had here, are starving each of these states, and this is what you get. You get states who've got to fix their roads, and so they're going to increase the gas. I think you see Democrats and Republicans both doing it, and it's the people who are using the roads getting taxed. I think that's a lot fairer system than we see with lots of things that we do.
I don't know. I'm surprised at you, Chuck, though, because it's a pretty regressive tax.
Well, yeah, it's a regressive tax because we've been starving out of the federal, the national.
Can I just say something about we've been starving it? Don't you recall just a few short years ago, President Obama said we need to take about $1 trillion from the American taxpayers and we need to spend it on the stimulus package on infrastructure, by the way. And so we sent it out, and it didn't get spent on that. It got wasted on a lot of junk. We all know. And it was also supposed to keep unemployment from getting too high, and it didn't happen. So you talk about,
we haven't raised the federal gas tax in 22
hold on,
years.
guys, I know we're excited, but Chuck, go ahead.
We haven't raised the federal gas tax in 22 years. We take in about $35 billion to fix our roads, and we've been spending about $50 billion. That's the crux of the problem. If there's something good to invest in and create jobs, it's infrastructure. And that's the reason these states are doing this. The states are supposed to be the bed that's supposed to be culminating all these great ideas. Well, these Republican governors are coming up with great ideas, and that's raising the gas tax.
Except for $1 trillion that's gone from the stimulus package that was supposed to go for infrastructure, and it didn't. So, you can't just ignore that. And basically, it got wasted. It was a boondoggle, and people were, and this is something the president said we have to have. So I just don't know how you can say that the money isn't there and the states have been starved when in fact they haven't. It's just been spent the wrong way.
There's also been a lot of innovation out there with the cars getting a lot more mileage for the gallon. We have electrical cars and lots of things. We have to modernize everything that we do, but we also need to make sure that our roads and bridges, so our commerce can move from point A and point B, is there for all of the taxpayers to use.
And gas prices are down, Cheri. I mean, from a year ago.
Well, yeah, and that's why I think they think it's a lot easier to raise them. There's a psychological point where people's behavior starts changing. And you drive by a gas station several times a day, most people do. So you see those ever-changing gas prices. And when it's $3.99 a gallon, maybe I'll still drive. And maybe when it hits $4 a gallon, people start changing their driving behavior because they feel it. It might not even be the biggest thing in their budget, but it kind of psychologically represents to them how the economy is doing or what the government is doing to them in terms of taxes. So, I think politicians need to pay attention to that.
They do. Thanks, guys. Chuck, you keep riding that bike. All right.
Yes, ma'am.